Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I am joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Tanner. Hello, Ben, and indeed, hello, everybody. You all right?
Hello, everybody, and especially a very, very special returning guest. Nico Bell is a horror and sci-fi author of books such as Food Fright, Opera House, and the soon-to-be-released Static Screams. Welcome back to the show, Nico.
Hi, yes, thank you so much for having me back.
Oh, thanks for coming back. And obviously the full
welcome.
experience this time, as Ben is here with us as well. So let's get you back for the full team.
This is the more well-rounded horror hangout experience. No disrespect intended to you, Andy, of course.
But you bring a certain, how do you say, je ne sais quoi to the whole...
How dare you? How dare you say that? What does that mean?
Just French for fucking stupid. No, it isn't.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, it's the start of a new month. It's the start of March. Got some interesting makes it sound like it sounds bad. I've got some good, interesting things.
All good. Just a mix of different types of good.
That's
no bad. Yeah,
that's exactly what I meant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's been a little while, Nico, since you've been on the show. Been a few months.
Yes, it has. Yeah,
we're getting on for a year, isn't it?
I mean, last time we were together, we talked about Insidious. We talked about going to the faraway place where Darth Maul might stop you getting back to your body. And
Darth Maul.
The big cultural difference we've learned between people in fictional America of Insidious and the people over here in the UK. Put the big light on for once in your lives if there's ghost things going on.
The big light.
Yes.
Just the one switch, the big light.
Yes. I definitely remember from talking to you that all houses are haunted. I think that's what you said, right? All houses are haunted in the UK. That's what I distinctly remember.
Yeah, absolutely all of them, which is why you have one light that puts basically every light in the house on, like a big emergency switch.
Yes.
Are you a big light on all the time person, Andy? Or are you do lamps?
Well, I like lamps, but not when I suspect there's ghosts or burglars in the house. Then they all go on.
All of them?
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All these things you can get now with these dimmer bulbs. Now you can tell your smart speaker assistant to turn all of the lights to 300%, dazzle any intruders.
Oh God, no! What was the? I can't fully remember. What did everybody think of Insidious then? When after that review back in May last year, was everyone positive on it?
I think so.
Yeah. Moderately positive. I didn't think either of us walked away saying, "Oh my God, Insidious tattoos" immediately. But we had a good time and we had a fun
time. Doors for everybody.
Yeah.
Red door.
I heart Lin Shaye.
Yeah.
It was always one of those film franchises that I kind of like turned my nose up at a little bit, where I was like, "Oh, jump scares, just it's all the same old crap." But I think once I actually dedicated some time to watching all the films, I mean, it's okay. I think I like the first one, and as we mentioned just before the show, Insidious: The Red Door, like wrapped up that story quite nicely. And it's rare that any film, let alone like a mainstream horror film, gets the chance to wrap up a story 10 years later.
Yeah. And I've just realized my favorite part of Insidious. It's flooding back to me, having the gang all together talking about it again. The brother that's not haunted. The brother that's just nice.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right? Oh, that's
certificate. I did this drawing at school today, and they're like, "Interesting, your brother's haunted."
Yeah, he fucking smashes a spelling test, doesn't it? It's like Patrick Wilson's like, "Sorry, mate, can't pay attention to you now. Your brother is in a coma forever."
He could have literally been. He could have cured something. He could have made a rocket ship. He could have been like spelling bee champion.
Yeah, it's me. I've invented double penicillin. Not at the minute, mate. I'm afraid your brother is in the shadow realm.
He is in the Red Door as well, the brother. The brother's he is like, again, rarely sort of there. He just turns up at some point and
just doesn't like that he's just fine.
Yeah, because I think they're split up. Patrick Wilson, I don't think that's a spoiler, but Patrick Wilson and what's her name? The actress? Rose? I want to say Rose?
I'm gonna have to
Rose Byrne. They're split up, and there's like a bit of like divorced tension going on. When divorced divorced couples are sometimes portrayed in films and stuff. It probably is quite realistic actually, where the dad's still like maybe one day we'll get back together.
No, you're haunted. You're not allowed to be in photographs ever again because that ghost woman's going to keep sneaking up on you.
If
I've
I
had time to look up the
unhook
brother. Foster is his name.
Oh,
God
yeah.
bless you, Foster.
Yeah.
I thought you meant he was a foster brother.
No.
Wait.
He might as well be with the attention they're giving.
Oh dear. Yeah. Poor Foster.
But that aside, lovely time with Insidious. I know, Nico, that you've been very busy, whereas we've been watching movies and rocking up to talk about them every week. You've been doing something creative with your life, writing a new book, which is due for release. If you're listening to this on the day of the episode's release, today, get yourself to your latest
My
bookshop
God.
store for it and get yourself a copy. Tell us all about it, please.
Yes, so it is a sci-fi horror. It's like a grief sci-fi horror about a young woman who is hallucinating and she's tried everything, but she stumbles upon this psychiatrist who claims to have the cure, but the psychiatrist has some nefarious intentions. So she ends up having to like fight for her life and face her demons, and it's a story about like mental health and trying to overcome like your own personal sorrow and grief. And it's probably like my most serious and like vulnerable story I've written so far. So I really hope it sells. Like I really hope it finds an audience. But you know, it was fun to write regardless. It was like a good therapy session. So yeah.
Oh, excellent. And what, just a reminder, because Ben rattled off a few titles, the title of this new one released now is?
It's called Static Screams, and it's
Static
wherever you buy
Screams.
books online. Yeah.
There you go. So wherever you do find your books online, is it hard copies and digital as well, or is it just hard copies to start with?
It's just paperbacks and ebooks.
Okay, perfect. So however you like to read, wherever you find your books, give Static Screams a little search when you're listening to us here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cover's great as well. Very, very spooky, glowing red eyes.
Yeah, that was by a fabled beast who did. He's been doing another cover of mine. He did Beyond the Creek, and I'm terrible with like images and art and things like that. That's just not how my brain works. So I just tell him like I just have a story and it's kind of spooky and it's sci-fi and there's like dots everywhere, and then he produces like this incredible image. And I'm sure like every time he gets an email from me, he like rolls his eyes and it's like, oh gosh, not her again. Because like I provide hardly anything for him, but he is incredible. So if anybody is looking, very reasonably priced. So if anyone's looking for cover art or any sort of like art for merchandise, a fabled beast is fantastic.
Awesome. Can I ask, sorry, what description of Beyond the Creek you gave before that cover was created? Because I mean, it's great, but it's very, very unique.
I said there are spider women in the woods.
Madame Web? No,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Like perfect.
Spider women in the woods.
Yeah.
Because I'll describe the book cover for anybody listening. It's kind of like it's odd because it's like an image of a house, but almost like looking up at it. But then the house looks like it's on the back of a spider.
Yep.
It's very
That's exactly it. It's like a Victorian old house on a spider, which I thought was fantastic. I was like, if I had room, I'd get this tattooed someplace. Like if I had like a big
that would be great. That'd be
that would
great.
be a great tattoo. I know, right?
Get a large enough section of skin to accommodate an entire spider house, then
Exactly. Yeah, but he's fantastic. You can just give him like 5 words, and then I'm sure he'd love that I'm telling people that. Just like 5 words, and he'll produce.
yeah, there's
something.
someone listening going, I'm going to try 3.
I know, right? Like a fun challenge.
A good cover, man. Jeez.
Good cover, man. Book cover. Right.
Oh, great.
We'll obviously put a link in the show notes to Static Screams. And of course, it is, if you are listening to this brand new on the day this episode is out, it is out right now.
Yeah, if you want to be riding the wave of what's popular and new, everybody, what better way to do it? And if you're listening to this months after release, catch up. Come on.
If you're listening to this months after release, it's still available.
Yeah.
It is.
So, you know?
The only way it could not be right for you right now is if you're listening to this before it's being released, in which case you're in one of our houses.
Yeah.
And then, even then, you just have to wait a couple of days, I guess.
Unless you found this podcast on some old iPod and the world's ended, apocalyptic style,
In that case, maybe this book has the secrets to bring everyone back, though. So do try and look it up
There
anyway.
you go, right?
Yeah, find it.
Use your last of your resources to find this book.
There must be one copy available somewhere. But this is all come full. This is how these things all come together. Because Nico, we knew that you were dealing with a kind of mysterious sci-fi bit of intrigue in your book. So we used this to kind of steer us towards the film we were going to choose this week, and we landed on Scanners from an extensive list that we went through. I won't spoil the others, not because I don't remember them, honest, but we landed on Scanners, and this was a first time watch for you, right?
First time. Yep.
It was a first time watch from me as well, which is
And me. We're all
God.
And this is such a beloved series with like sci-fi horror communities. I'm not sure how much of that is, love for David Cronenberg, how much of it is the practical effects and a couple of iconic moments that we'll cover, or how much of it is of the world that is set up. Because I know there are a number of sequels to Scanners, right? I don't know anything about them.
I think there's two, as far as I'm aware. Two sequels to Scanners, which is interesting because this is odd because this was another one of those like cover art / VHS cover arts that I remember very vividly from when I was a kid, seeing it and being like, nope, there's no way I'm going anywhere near that for some reason. I think it was like a trio. It was Scanners, The Thing, and Hellraiser were the three that I was like, ooh.
Yeah, don't look at that pinhead. I don't know what he's about. And then with this one,
I don't know.
Michael Ironside looking like he's doing a big shout.
Poor old Michael. And I don't know why. For some reason, like looking at this particular image, I always thought there was Michael Ironside's character who was like on the receiving end of something bad. Like he was the one being scanned. I mean, I know he is essentially, but I didn't realize that he was the villain as such. And obviously, we've all seen the exploding head.
That's awesome.
Moment in GIF form or in other form, and I think I always knew it was from Scanners, but I don't know why. And I love Cronenberg, but strangely, this was one that I'd never seen before. We've covered a few Cronenberg films on this show. I think most recently, maybe The Brood was the last one we covered, and I say most recently, well, it probably was a couple of years ago. But yeah, very interesting. And I guess like telekinetic horror was kind of quite big around this time anyway, wasn't it? So obviously Carrie was 1970 something. Forgive me for not knowing that shot off the top of my head. It was only 1981. It's weird how like telekinesis like started off in this sort of realm of horror before eventually becoming a bit like associated with more like the superhero side of things. I know X-Men existed around about this time as well, but I mean like in movies, telepathy and telekinesis and stuff was considered scary.
Yeah, but like, I mean, with this one, and we'll come to it, but not only telepathy, telekinesis, reading people's minds, blowing a person's head up, but really broad powers you can get as well. You can, if you want, you can phone up a computer and get in there.
Yeah, why not, right?
Oh yeah, because the computer's got a nervous system. You never thought about
Just
that?
like a brain.
He's like, I've gone my whole life. I'm basically 40 years old, and I've never thought I could do a scanner on a.
You could do a scanner. I could do a scanners on a computer. Yeah,
on a computer. Oh, yeah.
Just phone up the computer and have a think about it down the phone.
It's as easy as that. It's as easy as that.
It's like the 1980s hacking, where you just type on that green screen.
Oh yeah.
If you can type fast enough, then you're hacking it.
Gotta beat the computer. Nico, do movies like inspire your writing at all? Do you find
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I get like kind of stuck, I like to just sit and watch a bunch of movies. They always definitely inspire. Like the book I wrote, this isn't a movie, but the OA was like something that really inspired me. The idea of like what happens if you die. Yeah, it was a Netflix series. And just kind of talking about like parallel universes and otherworldly things. Yeah, so for sure this stuff definitely inspires. I love like telekinesis type things. I love like Carrie, and I don't know how I made it so long without seeing Scanners. This is like right up my alley. I just think it'd be so cool, like to have that power. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make your head explode. I
Yeah, I
am.
mean, I feel like this is one of the grimmest versions of like psychic powers that we get. It's not like X-Men cartoons where Professor Xavier does blue lines sometimes, or like, can appear as sort of a slightly opaque version of himself behind, just going, "It's me talking to you in your mind." This one, even just naturally being scanned makes you a bit poorly, gives you a dicky tummy or gives you a nosebleed. It's rotten.
more realistic though, right? You're messing with somebody's brain and all of their like nerves and stuff. They're gonna have a nosebleed at least for
A
sure.
nosebleed, or you'll get all swollen faced, or you'll start just melting from the chest, or
Yeah,
your
Drilling.
that's
computer will
fair.
get exploded.
Yeah.
Will you put a drill in your own head just to alleviate the
Oh, yeah.
pain? I was thinking of another one. We've done fire starter as well. I guess that's telekinesis, is it not? Or is it
Yeah, pyrokinesis, it counts.
pyrokinesis? Okay, yeah. I mean, it kind of counts because there's definitely pyrokinesis
It's
in
got
this.
kinesis in it.
It's got kinesis in it, yeah. Um, yeah, it's definitely an intense sort of watch, isn't it? I guess before we do jump into the film, into the review of the film and anything else, I've got a little bit of horror news for us to discuss for the week. Straight off the back of our recent episode covering The Strangers with Lucy, there is a trailer now for The Strangers Chapter 1, which looks very, very similar to the original film, but it is the first in a new trilogy. We're guessing still in the continuation of the Strangers movies, but maybe like in between the two other movies. So it's going to be released on May the 17th, 2024. And we're going to find out, how did the strangers become the strangers? How did you go from being a normal bunch of people to going, let's stick a mask on and go and just murder people at random? Uh, so yeah, are you a fan of this film? The original? Sorry, Nico, have you seen The Strangers?
I haven't. Home invasion movies, like those scare me so much. Like
Yeah.
any home invasion type movie, I just can't really.
Give you ghosts any day.
Yeah, yeah, give me ghosts, give me like, telekinesis, head exploding, but I don't know. Home invasion ones, no, thank you. I still think Halloween is like the scariest movie. I always say this because like a man stalking a woman with a knife, like, no, thank you. And
Yeah.
so home invasions kind of like play into those fears. So I try to avoid them. That one looks scary. The trailer looked scary, the poster looks scary, so
Yeah, the new one, I think, like Ben said, I think it looks like a really competently made. It looks like there's going to be some, from the trailer at least, it looks like there's going to be some fairly intense scares and lots of menace and threat going on there. So like it does look very well made. I think my only hesitation is, I think I saw some people commenting already, like I feel like I've seen this movie already, because it is very heavily, like very, very heavily tied to what looks like the original, right? Because the little Mormon boys that are cycling around the neighborhood make an appearance, and we've got, yeah, it appears almost to be a. I'm not sure if they're meant to exist alongside, or if it's meant to basically replace the first one by having
Hmm.
another go at that one, but is setting it up to be a cohesive trilogy, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, what it just, as I said, it seems like this first film in a new trilogy, so it's almost like a reboot, soft reboot, or something like that. Uh,
Yeah,
who knows? I was kind of hoping maybe we'd get to see them in different masks. Maybe in chapter one they all had different masks, and then they changed their mind and went, actually, they're not scary enough.
we
Uh,
need Sackhead and the likes.
we need Sackhead, and
Um, yeah, it feels like it could be really interesting. It could be really good, but I want to see what the balance is of how much it's retreading and retelling the story of the original that we've already seen. You and I have seen very recently, and how much is it going a new direction?
yeah, I think it's being directed by Rennie Harlin again, who directed. He's got an interesting career in terms of the type of movies he's directed. So some of the biggest films on his list of films he's directed include Cliffhanger, Die Hard
Not a
2.
bad thing.
No, I'm not saying
Brilliant.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Cliffhanger, Die Hard 2. Oh, it just clicked off the list. And I think, is it Deep Blue Sea as well? Am I imagining that? I feel like it's Deep Blue Sea. Nightmare on Elm Street 4,
Okay, next one we're due to cover.
Yeah, Deep Blue Sea, yes. Director of Deep Blue Sea, The Long Kiss Goodnight. Oh, that is a good film. That is a good film. So almost like sort of action films, and I know Nightmare on Elm Street are, yeah, but like sort of 90s action films, and then apparently he's slated to direct all three of these new Strangers movies.
Okay, maybe I'm a bit more encouraged in that then, because that's a great filmography for genre stuff, for absolute masterpieces like Deep Blue Sea.
There are some dodgy ones on there as well that I've not read out, but you know,
Oh, everyone has a bad day.
everyone has a bad day or 12 films. So, but the one,
Yeah, I'm interested in this, but what I like, maybe it's a situation. Maybe you get past the familiar territory of the opening, and then for the next 2 2/3 films, it's all brand new all the time. So looking forward to it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's The Strangers Chapter 1. I also saw a headline about this film, which I thought sounded interesting. Texas Chainsaw Massacre filmmaker Jonathan Liebesman directing The Purge with Werewolves in a movie called Wolf Night. Now, I say Texas Chainsaw Massacre filmmaker, I'm assuming he made a remake or a prequel. He made the remake prequel, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, back in 2016, 2006, which I remember. I don't know if anyone else remembers that one, and even the remake one, with Jessica Biel. They're all right.
Yeah, I quite like Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Is it a 3D one?
That's the remake is a 3D one, yeah, I think.
3D.
Oh, wow.
Similar era and similar tone to the Alexandra Hills of Eyes remake, which is, I think, good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good.
Similar kind of feel and tone to that one.
Yeah. Well, Jonathan Liebesman's directorial credits also include Rings, which I rewatched recently for some reason. Don't know why I did that. The Wrath of the Titans, that Clash of the Titans sequel with old what's his chops from Avatar.
Sam Worthington.
That's it. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 2014. So he's gone. There's no plot synopsis, but he said District 9 by the way of the Purge, but with werewolves.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
District 9 by the way of the Purge. I mean, how do you have the Purge with werewolves? Is it that they'll say for today it's not illegal to be a werewolf? Fill your boots.
Yeah, maybe like so. I'm thinking. So this is what I'm getting from that, and then I'll actually guess it. District 9. Imagine a place where everyone's werewolves and they live in this closed-off community, and they're being suppressed by their werewolf powers are being suppressed somehow. They're getting injected by stuff, and then suddenly they go, actually,
One day, have a day off. Why don't you?
Yeah, there's actually a town nearby, and you could just go and kill
werewolf
everyone.
them.
And the
30 Days of Night style.
Yeah, and the characters we spend time with live in that town. One of them's heard rumors about these werewolves living over there, and they're like, "No, you're talking rubbish."
All right, interesting.
Fun. I hope it's going to be like, campy. That's how to do something like that. That would be really fun. That's good. I love that. Yeah. Anything's better with werewolves, right?
Oh yeah. I think because it's called Wolf Night, that sounds like it's going to be campy. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't campy, it'd be called something like, I don't know,
Night of the Wolf.
Darkness Falls or something. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. That already exists, I think. But
yeah,
but still, campy.
Oh,
That's good.
I love that. I love camp horror. That's going to be great.
Yeah, and you're right. Can't go wrong with werewolves. Anything else in the news, Ben?
Yes. And the last thing I've got is in regards to off the back of Frankenhooker last week. I thought, why not find some Frankenstein-themed news? And Universal Monsters Frankenstein is being resurrected by Skybound Entertainment in comic form.
Okay.
For release August 2024, 4-issue limited series written and drawn by Michael Walsh, the creator of The Silver Coin. Yeah, and it looks like it won't be a straightforward adaptation. In the comic, Dr. Henry Frankenstein robs a police officer's grave to find body parts for his new creation, only to discover that the officer's son is still yearning for his dead father. How does this discovery impact both creature and creator? The artwork looks amazing. It's kind of like it's like a sort of half skeleton, half Frankenstein thing with flowers all over it. Like he's almost growing out of the ground. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Always up for a little bit of comic news. as well. Excellent stuff.
Yeah. Issue 1 released August 28th, 2024, and yeah, just a 4-issue limited series, so that'll be good. Look forward to that. Anything else? News at all that anyone has to bring to the table? Andy? Anyone?
Nothing else that I've seen that's too pressing, Ben, apart from, of course, the big news on everyone's lips, of course. This week, Ben, in just a couple of short days, see you live in person because we have a film festival to go to.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it's come around quick, isn't it? But yeah, our next episode and everything that we're going to be covering for the next week or so on the show is we're going to Fright Fest Glasgow to indulge in 2 full days, two and a bit full days of horror movies, catching up with some horror hangout friends, new and old, and we're going to be bringing you a episode similar to the last Fright Fest episode we brought, which is kind of like where we're going to be feet on the ground, talking to everybody mere minutes after their films are shown at the festival, and interviews and just special guests and loads of
we can see there's all kinds of people about, but I'm not going to dive into the ins and outs of the films. But if anyone wants to look up, it doesn't work like London, where we had to pick and choose what we're going to see because there were too many screens running at the same time. While we're over in Glasgow, literally everything just runs back to back on a single screen at the cinema. So we will get to see absolutely everything. And that list of everything we get to see is You'll Never Find Me, The Soul Eater, The Deep Dark. Very good poster on this one. Looks like an oil rig and like a nasty hand going down below the surface there. To be honest, for me, title alone, the pick of the festival already, The Invisible Raptor. Yes, please. Wake Up, Kill Your Lover, Mom, The Funeral, Custom. Andy Edwards is back at it again. Friend of the show, previous interviewee. The Well, The Well as in, All in the Ground where you get your water, not someone who's not poorly. All You Need Is Death, sort of the anti-John Lennon film. The Last Straw, and that is it. But a whole bonanza of movies. Well, maybe we'll put a list to any trailers or any titles or letterbox pages. People want to check those out in advance. But as with the usual Fright Fest, there's UK premieres, there's world premieres, there's European premieres. Nice chance for us to catch up and get things a bit early for the year. And this is the start of the year as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a lovely time. I get to have my little house guest. Ben's going to come and visit us. We're going to it's not too far from the house.
You talk about me like I'm a little house guest, like I'm some sort of borrower.
Yeah,
you can sit in your little pocket, in your little.
I've got a little matchbox for you, Ben. I've chucked the matches away so you can put a little.
Can we go see the horror films, please? Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to that. The Invisible Raptor. What are we thinking? Low budget?
Don't know. I mean, probably costs quite a lot to get a raptor and then make it invisible for the cameras. Very expensive.
Sure. Can you pretend you're getting attacked by an invisible velociraptor? Okay. No, we got it all wrong. No.
No. It's not going to work. We're going to have to make a raptor because no one can do it. We're not hiring Denzel Washington for this. We haven't got that quality of actor. And that's not to say the actors aren't going to be good. It's just you can be very good and still not be that good.
Remember,
as Denzel is himself. Yeah.
Attack from the side. Remember that.
Yeah.
Do that. Never on their own. There's always
always lots of them. So always at least 3.
They are clever girls, and they will rip your. What do they do? Like slice your belly open.
Yeah. Still alive when he gets eaten as well. Poor old Muldoon. Rest in peace.
Anyway, looking forward to the whole. Looking forward to the whole event. It's going to be great. Yeah, so we're going to hopefully have lots of content to share in the next obviously with the main episode next week and then stuff off the back of that as well. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Okay, next section of the show would be what we've been watching, anything we've been watching in the last 7 days, horror or horror adjacent. Nico, as you're not on the show every single week, it doesn't have to just be the last 7 days. It can be anything recently that you've seen, horror focused or otherwise, that you'd like to recommend.
Last night I watched Spaceman, that Adam Sandler Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which I gotta say, it affected me in a way I was not prepared for.
Oh, okay.
I mean, first of all, he's supposed to be like from Czechoslovakia. So we're just gonna throw that out there that didn't fit very well. But it was actually like a really touching movie, like this sci-fi movie. And because you just see like with the trailer, like him by himself floating in space, and there's like this giant spider alien that's like with him. But it was like it was a moment. It was a moment. I didn't think Adam Sandler had it in him, but that is what I watched, and I would recommend it if you're like in the mood for a little tearjerker. It was surprisingly good.
Interesting. You don't really know all that much about it. I'd seen like a poster, and I've seen sort of like him, just some like stills of him in the movie, but I didn't know all that much about it. I'm suddenly intrigued.
Yeah, I was very much prepared to like just sit and make fun of Adam Sandler for an hour and a half, and it turned into like I was fully engrossed with this man's journey and loneliness and wanting to be with his wife back on Earth. It was intense. I enjoyed it.
Considering, I guess off the back of something like Uncut Gems, for example, he's definitely shown he can, do other stuff. But still, I don't know. It's interesting. When you hear it's Adam Sandler, you still just go, "Oh yeah, Adam Sandler." And okay, I kind of know what
he's going to be up to some japes. He's going to be seeing if shampoo or conditioner is better. He might have to wet himself at some point.
No. It's like, I grew up with Billy Madison. Like, Billy Madison was like the movie, So like every time I think of Adam Sandler, I think of that. But yeah, he can pull off some good acting when he wants to, apparently. I heard he had like some deal with Netflix that he has to make like 5 movies or something with them in a certain
period. That's what I heard as well. I also heard that after he made Uncut Gems, he said if he didn't get an Oscar nomination, he was going to, on purpose, make the worst film he ever had.
Was that like Jack and Jill or something terrible?
I have no idea.
Like a slew of terrible movies. Oh yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, this one was good. It was surprisingly good. Yeah, that's what I was watching.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I think I would like to check that out. Now you say that. Anything else at all? Just that?
That's all that comes to mind. It was so good, it took over my whole brain. All I could think of.
Knocked 2 or 3 of the films straight out of there.
Yeah.
Andy, have you seen anything?
Seen a couple, Ben. I know that I had a couple of bonanza weeks, and then I had a bit of a lackluster one, but got a couple of bits for you this week. I will tell you what I've been catching up on. One of them was From Beyond, previous episode that I wasn't around for, so I finally caught up with that. I mean, absolute stone cold classic, right? You've got Barbara Crampton, of course, Jeffrey Combs, like, what a time. Like, great, bizarre, slightly, like, otherworldly horror. Pretty sexy at some parts. If you do say so much, yeah.
Sexy, slivery, slowly. Not always words you would associate with each other, but...
And it such whiplash as well, going from one to another. Oh, this is a bit sexy. When the resonator's on, they sends them a bit funny. Or snogging. No, you've ruined it. There's a big slithery man that's come out now. Yeah.
It happens. It happens. You got to be careful.
You have to be careful. So I watched that. I watched a 1986 sort of sorority house movie called Killer Party, which genuinely, for 80-85% of the film's running time, you would be mistaken for thinking it is just a like a sorority house doing some pranks, not really horror related at all. To the fact where they do find a body and that's a scare, but that's actually one of the pranks they pull. One of them is like a mannequin specialist, and they can make them. And then genuinely, the last 20 minutes of the movie, it's revealed that someone is possessed by a demon and loads of fuckers die. It's mad. It is so backloaded.
Not Barbara Crampton as well?
No. Killer Party features.
It looks a lot like it, but it's not.
Let me tell you. No, a lot of names that I wouldn't recognize, and a lot of folks that just don't have a picture on their
Another one I don't think I've heard of before.
Yeah, that one came out of nowhere. It was on an old list of things that I put on the watch list. I was like, okay, let's clear this one off, shall we? I watched found footage movie Grave Encounters. Have you
Oh
either of you heard
yeah,
of this one?
yeah, I remember that one. I mean,
It's
I've probably not seen it since it came out, but
I was kind of inspired by it when Helen came to join us a few weeks ago, and she was talking about her Destination Fear program that she was enjoying
yeah,
on YouTube. It's kind of built up like that, right? It's people who are doing they're doing real footage in a haunted location. They stay overnight in like a hospital kind of asylum wing,
mm,
um, and then they get trapped in there, and spooky things are going on. I think it pioneered a series of videos that became popular on YouTube. In fact, like the figure that looks normal, then their face distorts and they got all black eyes and are horrible
yeah, the
like that.
classic. Isn't that the ultimate like thing of that, like the face going all twisted and weird?
Yeah,
Like when you look at it, turn around.
and they turn around, they've got a horrible, spooky face. So there's that. Um, Unconnected to horror, I watched Wicked Little Letters. I went to the cinema. It's one where Olivia Colman and horrors, Jessie Buckley, of course, not being traumatized by Rory Kinnear being all the men this time. Just being traumatized by being accused of writing horrible letters to people.
Oh,
Um, but fun little British comedy. But horror zone. Jessie
yeah.
Buckley was in that, so worth a mention. And then to finish up, I watched something that's available on Disney Plus right now. The Empty Man from 2020. Either of you have
Oh
heard
yeah.
of this?
Yeah, I think this has got a lot of people liked it, right? Is it quite long, if I remember?
Yeah, it is quite long. I'll tell you that for nothing. It is 2.5 hours, which gave me a little pause. But tell you what, Nico, hearing the things that you enjoy, if the 2.5 hours doesn't pour cold water on that for you, I think you'd enjoy it. It's got like some mystery, it's got some investigation to it. It begins almost like there is like one of these ritual things. It's these kids that are saying, "Oh well, hey, if you blow into a bottle and waz it over the edge of the bridge and think about the empty man, then in 3 days he's going to come get you."
Mm.
But then it goes on a completely different angle. Really, really interesting. Really interesting. Talks about kind of like free will and predetermination, and has some really good cult stuff about it as well. But yeah, the Empty Man was really interesting.
Who is the lead in that? It's that James Badge Dale, isn't it? Bro,
They're bringing it up for you there.
he's in the.
It is James
I recognize him.
Badgedale.
I recognize him from The Departed, and I think he's also in like whatever that. Not Band of Brothers, but also kind of like that Pacific. I just like it. His middle name's Badge.
And Marin Ireland is in it as well, who you will know from The Dark and the Wicked, the Boogeyman.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
so yeah, you know what? It's interesting. You got to watch out for that Empty Man, though. One
Yeah,
of those things where if someone's doing one of those things, like, oh, do you want to do this ritual? Just don't even bother. Like, if someone just don't join in with anything, kids. All right, safer.
joining in is for losers. That's what you're
That's how
saying.
you end up punching darts. You're doing all those bad things for you. Like nothing good ever came of just joining in with a thing, right?
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I've seen a couple of things, but nothing too horror related. What? I did go see Dune Part Two last night, um, which
It's
was
horrible. There's big worms in that. You got to be careful.
big scary worms in that. Basically, like Space Jesus is Paul Atreides. That's pretty much what he is. If you watch Dune and you thought there's a lot of religious symbolism in this film, that won't prepare you for what happens in Part Two. Wow,
He's more Jesus more of the time.
he's incredibly Jesus-like. Everyone's just yeah, it's pretty mad. Some
I love
new
it how his name. I love it how he's like from a fantastical space, thing. And there are sandworms. There's all these wonderful and weird empires, and everyone looks so strange. And there's magic powers, and his name's Paul.
Here, Paul, are you Space Jesus or something?
And everyone else has got proper space names. Oh, it's the Arrakis and all these other people.
Oh my gosh, I never
My name,
even
though,
thought about
Paul.
it.
Although I do like Josh Brolin's name is like Gurney, which I like. A couple of new people in the cast, like Austin Butler is playing like a villain. Fade, Rautha, Harkonnen, Florence Pugh is in it as well. So there's some nice additions. Dave,
All with other mad space names that aren't
all the
like
other mad
Paul.
space name. Dave Bautista's name is like Beast Rabban. Um, it's great. It's amazing. It's like one of the, I mean, it's just like a visual spectacle, isn't it? And it's just, I think seeing it in the cinema, you kind of, the sound design's great as well. You're just like, you genuinely think a sandworm's going to erupt out from the beneath the showcase in Bristol, Screen 6. Yeah, but it's great. If you like, I didn't. What I was gonna like rewatch the first one, but I just watched like a recap video. It was a,
3 hours. I'll
yeah,
just remember it in my mind.
exactly. That's what I did. But yeah, it's kind of made me go and want to attempt the book again because I did get about halfway through the book and I just went.
I often toy with having a go at the Book of June. I feel if I just get a digital copy and don't look at how many pages it is, it might be easier.
Yeah, you never know. It just keeps going on and on and on.
Because it's big, isn't it? It's one of those hefty ones.
It is, yeah.
You don't be reading that in bed, fall asleep, drop it on your face.
Have you read it, Nico?
No, it's too big.
Yeah.
It's
I
just,
think I've maybe like attempted to read it like three times, but I think now I've seen the films, it's almost like I can visualize a lot more. Like I know who's who, whereas it's quite easy in the book, I think, to just read the names and be like,
Especially when they've all got unrelatable names, apart from one.
oh,
Put Paul back on.
AKA Space Jesus. I did also watch Out of Darkness, Andy, which of course you had seen and made it onto your top list of horror movies from last year.
It did. What did you reckon to it?
Stone Age psychological horror. Great cinematography. I didn't necessarily think the story developed in a way that I found all that satisfying, but still, like, it's hard to deny that like it's a very tense film. It's very well made. The fact that they've like invented a language for the film as well, like, is great.
Big swing, right? And I had to pay out on that one. And also, like, locations, I was just blown away by all those real locations they had as well.
It looks like one of these films where you're like, is that Scotland? I don't know if you know where it was filmed, but there's plenty of.
Yeah, it's Highlands, so
It is. Yeah.
not north of me.
But apart from that, that's pretty much it. I did watch a documentary on Prime called Ban Sadist Videos from 2005, just because I absolutely love the moral outrage and moral panic of people going, "What's that? Cannibal Holocaust?" It's the word, literally. You should lock people up for watching this film. Mad. But it was a documentary like 2005, so even like now looking back at it, it still feels like kind of nuts. People who like owned the video shops and stuff and were being like locked up for stocking like Evil Dead on the shelves, which is hilarious. There was like an old lady called, is it Mary Whitehouse? Is that right?
Mary Whitehouse, yeah.
Who was just like, obviously had never seen any of these films, but was like campaigning against them massively. And I just think, if you were alive now and I could sit you down and go, just watch Evil Dead 2013, maybe just the last scene, and see what you think. You know,
I reckon that would probably finish her off.
It would probably finish her off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I don't know. She's bound to be.
Yes, she is.
Being horrible about this woman, but yes, she is.
Yeah, she has indeed passed away. Like an interesting story in a career. Probably a woman that was maybe forced into the position she eventually took by a couple of choices. Like, she became an incredible force for campaigning just because she would write letters and put these complaints in. But then I think was probably escalated further by the reaction of some members of the press, that they then platformed her further by making fun of her in some of their content. I forget, it might have been the director of the BBC or maybe a news journalist got like an offensive portrait of her made that pushed her even further onto this scale. And then it quickly escalated beyond, like, I don't think there should be violence, to really thinking of things that she didn't really understand but was complaining about on principle, having not seen these things.
Yeah.
Not a great reputation with the LGBTQ community because, she was based on traditional religious values as well. So obviously found those things that wouldn't necessarily relate to those sensibilities offensive as well, so would therefore complain about them.
Yeah,
not just violence.
Loads of films were being banned, like based on certain things. They were like, "Oh, we're going to ban this violence." However, Schindler's List is pretty good actually, so we probably should ban that. There was just loads of rules like that they kind of enforced, made on themselves. But it is interesting to see it develop, and like how still like violence in video games and violence in movies does get blamed for some things occasionally. If you find out somebody has committed an act of violence and it's like, oh yeah, but they played this game or they watched this film, clearly that's to blame. So yeah, it's all like swing. It all keeps, time is a flat circle. These things just keep happening over and over again, but still interesting to see.
It is though. What else we have watched though? What would Mary Whitehouse think she'd seen? Scanners. Head might have exploded.
She might have seen
like many
Scanners.
People do. Oh yeah, 1981. She was knocking about.
She was knocking about in 1981. Yeah. So film of the week, which is Scanners, a Canadian science fiction horror film written and directed by David Cronenberg, starring Stephen Lack, Jennifer O'Neill, Michael Ironside. And the film, a scientist trains a man with an advanced telepathic ability called scanning to stop a dangerous scanner with extraordinary psychic powers from waging a war against non-scanners. That's right. The word scanner is 3 times in that little synopsis.
Had you been playing a Scanners drinking game on this one, where you'd have to have had a drink every time someone said scan, scanners, scanning.
God.
How soon would you have succumbed to alcohol poisoning? I don't think I'd have made it halfway.
No. Yeah, for sure.
But if you had to drink every time someone's head exploded, it was just once, right? Was it once?
Yeah.
It was just the once.
There was
you
a
don't
lot.
count the eyes popping later than just the once, yeah. You just have one drink, have a nice night out.
There was so much of people getting shot with shotguns as well. Just like the amount of just like people just getting their bodies peppered with shotguns.
Usually moments after Cameron walks in somewhere, goes, all right, it's me, Cameron. Then before you know it, a different crew of shotgun men has turned up.
All right, it's me, Cameron. Bang, bang.
Oh, fuck's sake, will everyone stop being absolutely riddled with shotgun blasts?
Absolutely horrific. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the gore effects, obviously, like the head exploding is great, but I think all of that stuff is good as well. I think that's what everyone remembers this film for mostly, isn't it? Is that one instance of exploding head effect. Even though, like, especially the stuff behind you, Andy, like the bits at the end where he gets milky white eyes and people catch on fire, and yeah, it's all pretty nuts. Okay, so in terms of ratings for this film, we have got 6.7 IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, 68% audience score, 64% critic score, Letterboxd 3.5 out of 5, and some choice reviews from Letterboxd. Russ Man says, the most intense staring contest ever. 3.5 stars.
It's pretty gnarly that, like, yeah, the final is just them staring at each other. Like, that's a pretty bold move for, like,
Yeah.
for a movie.
Come on, I'm gonna make your head explode.
Yeah.
Julie Northwood, although it says naughty Julie Northwood here. Julie, excuse me, how naughty are you on Letterboxd? Please behave yourself. Michael Ironside's menacing portrayal of Revok was traumatizing. He literally gave a mind-blowing performance. 4 stars. Cobra Rocky says, yes, the movie where the guy's head blew up. 4 stars. And the real Charlie B, I'm hoping it's the real Charlie B. How do you manage to make a story about warring factions of mutants completely dull and mundane? 2 stars. Nice reviews there, of course.
Dull and mundane. Someone's head explodes. Skin melts. There is blood. Like, there's
I feel like you could watch the head explode and then that's it, and that like.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Well, no, yeah, but you could watch it, enjoy that, and then that's it. Like, what more do you need? You're like, wow, that was great. What's next?
Yeah, this is achieved. This is a 3-star movie already, and they'll be like, apparently not this viewer, but 2 minutes later when they're doing that board meeting, you know, about should we decommission the scanners? It's boring.
I want to see heads exploding. I want everyone on the screen.
Every second
Head.
that the head isn't exploding on screen, I'm reducing my score by 0.1 of a star.
But so for a first time watch for all three of us, that's I think that's pretty good going for this show. For us all to odd that I've not got around to it before, but I'm glad I did. Um, yeah, it's a film that seems to have a lot of fans, and as we already mentioned, like telepathic and telekinetic powers, big in horror films around about this time. I did double check; it was 1976, Carrie, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I've forgotten already. Uh, so yeah, like telekinesis as a form of warfare was big around about this sort of era as well.
yes, late. I mean, Cold War era, right? Like when people were worried about like people trying to read each other's minds and like psychic warfare and things like that. Is it born of that, perhaps?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
And
so.
it does have a great like fear of the other to it as well, right? That these people that live
Yeah.
among our society, but they could be scanning you.
They could be scanning
You
you.
would know pretty quickly if they were. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like
Mostly.
anyone's hiding this.
Yeah.
Is that baby trying to scan me? Is that pretty? Are you pregnant? I'm pretty sure your baby's trying to scan me. Leave me alone.
Well,
But
I mean, yeah. So we begin like, I mean, there's so many things to unpick with this one. I think we'll talk practical effects and everything as we get them. But how are you? How are you all familiar with the various members of the cast? Because for me, Michael Ironside is a name and a face and a voice that we've seen over things, but by far and away he was the most recognizable person in this film. Anyone else ring any bells for the rest of you?
No, I just recognized him.
yeah,
And yeah, that was it. I thought they all did a good job, except the woman. Women being like in the 80s, the characters, it's just, we've come a long way. But like every time I watch an 80s movie, I'm just like, oh, that poor actress, like getting no agency. She's just screaming and like flailing about, and the guys have to like drag her to safety. And just like, oh.
I mean, it's her own fault, Nico. She shouldn't get shot with so many tranquilizer darts.
I know. I'm impressed she kept her shirt on, because usually in the 80s, women's shirts just they just fly off.
Yeah, they didn't have the same button technology as we do now.
that's what the shirts were made of in the 80s. Very fine fabric, a slight gust of wind. God.
Yeah, women were just allergic to their clothing in the 80s. But no, I thought it was I recognized Michael Ironside, but nobody else.
And who is when you think Michael Ironside, I'm sure for masses of people, this is probably the Michael Ironside film that comes to mind. What is it for you two? What is your Michael Ironside performance that you immediately conjure when you hear his name?
Total Recall, isn't it? As what's his name?
Richter. So you have the
Richter?
party Richter when his arms have been chopped off by the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one. That was a good one. I think he was in Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
Like picture him in like
that was going to be mine.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
He's the teacher, right? The teacher
Yeah.
becomes a soldier, and then
That's where I thought I recognized him most from.
He is
So, yeah.
also the main antagonist in Free Willy. Anyone?
is he? He wants to keep. He's a SeaWorld employee.
I can't even remember. Any like a boat captain, like someone who wants to kill the whale for some reason.
Oh, I thought you might just want him not to be free, but he wants to kill him.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Again, it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure. But yeah, for me mainly Total Recall. He was in Top Gun as well, right? Well, actually, I'm listing it here. He was in Top Gun as naval aviator, so I'm assuming not a big role.
Okay. Oh, Patrick McGoohan is in this, aka the prisoner.
Oh, okay.
So he's familiar, but
The
more
lead actor in this film
television.
I didn't recognize, Stephen Lack. He had a very
So Cameron Vale, he has another. He has a number of films to his name. Some more horror, Terror in the Isles, a cut above the rest. A non-stop roller coaster ride through the scariest moments and greatest terror films of all time. Looks to me, Ben, to be some kind of anthology / documentary that you might enjoy. But yeah, not a huge number of credits
Yeah.
to his name.
It's almost like it is a horror film, but it's almost like a bit of mystery, a bit of espionage as well happening. Um, yeah, it's difficult. I think from looking at the sort of poster there, I think it looks more horror than sci-fi, but I think it is more sci-fi than horror, really, isn't it? Um, but yeah, so the main character is Cameron Vale, and that's how the film starts, isn't it?
It is. Cameron Vale is just a guy who is kind of a vagrant character who's walking into just your local cafe, right?
It looks like a sort of a mall, right? Is he like a
Like a
sort
food court, I
of food
guess.
store? Yeah. And he's gone, do you know what? Does he just take a cigarette off someone's table?
I
It
think he
look,
does. Yeah, or like
he
a
does.
fry. Like he takes something off someone's table.
I
Just so
swear, he takes a cigarette and then just goes, excuse me. And then he takes some fries and he sits down at like a table, like someone's left the table and he's like eating the.
Oh, he's like that Bill Murray joke, the Bill Murray like urban legend, isn't it? Where he goes up and steals someone's chip and goes, "Ah, no one will ever believe you." Um, but yeah, so he's there pinching a couple of chips, harmless,
Harmless,
pinching a
yeah.
couple of chips, punching a dart in a food court as you could in in 1981. Um, and then does he psychically hear this woman, or does he just
I feel
listen
like
with his ears?
rather than him psychically hearing her, he's using his powers of scanning to amplify her voice. That's what
Yeah,
he's
and
definitely saying that, but she's far away.
she's slagging him off, right? She's like,
yeah.
don't believe they let fucking idiots like this. Look at the state of him.
So odd, isn't it?
So he goes, I tell you what,
Color would you say this guy's eyes are, and are they naturally that color? They're almost like
lovely teal eyes.
thinking like a bit yellowy. I swear, like towards the end, I know obviously there was a certain reveal where his eye color is key, but they almost look like a bit odd and yellow. And I was thinking, is this natural? He's a very how would you describe it? As a leading character? He's very, I don't want to say bland either. That's not very nice. I don't know, vanilla is what I want to say. There's nothing really that interesting about him. Is that fair?
I mean, I guess in terms of remarkable appearances, bearing in mind you've got Revok, antagonist who has bullet hole in his head.
I don't necessarily mean like visually or like anything the way he looks. I just mean as a character. He's not. I don't know. He's just a bit. He doesn't seem particularly driven in any way. I know, obviously, he's going about asking after people constantly, but he doesn't feel particularly driven to like get answers. And I
Because
know.
this what makes him the perfect spy, though. Like he's got like generic face. He can blend into a crowd in a lovely duffel coat when he's going about in a bit.
Can you describe this guy? Well, he's got short hair. Or was it long hair?
Yeah,
Kind of
average build, average height.
an average height, average man. He's just an average man.
Yeah,
Uh,
you wouldn't think twice if you saw him using your phone box to dial into a computer with his mind.
you wouldn't.
So perfect for spy work. But yeah, he is this woman slagging him off anyway, and he's like, right, have a bloody heart attack on me, love.
Have a heart attack on me. I'm going to scan you, but not scan you enough so your head explodes.
I'm gonna very briefly, like you'll be there slagging me off, and then turn into Scatman John effectively. So she was like, "You let these people in here, but," and then she goes falling over, and a lot of people are very slow. Like everyone sort of slowly congregates over to help her.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, and I guess this means that this private military company who've got like some agents looking for him, they're immediately aware of who he is based on that.
Yeah,
Scan it.
yeah. One of them's just in the food court. They're on their lunch break, and they just like give a little nod over there and say,
We're gonna send.
"Just looks like he's scanning her. Right, get arrowed, mate."
Is it just me who thinks that when he does this weird move where he like jumps from one I was gonna say what do you call it, Nico?
Escalator?
Escalator, yeah, that's it. When he jumps from one escalator to another and he's hanging on to it, I'm like, that's a bit unnecessary. What? This guy is so slow. Why is he doing like some sort of...
I love that so much. She's just holding on so much. I just love that. I was like, he definitely could have jumped onto it, but nope, that was a decision.
Just gonna hang off this.
Yes. More
So-
peril.
The music and everything is trying to hype it up as if he'd done some sort of amazing escape move. But he's just hanging there. And I'm just like... And does he get like shot in the hand by the tranquilizer?
Yeah, he gets. As I looked at it, he goes, "Oh, arrowed."
Oh, I'm ever so sleepy.
I was sleepy, and then as soon as they catch up with him, um, he goes, "All right, get some." He's been captured, and then the next thing he knows, he's been woken up by a man who's used to seeing that. The prisoner himself, Patrick McGoohan. He's like, "Wake up, everyone! You've been captured. Now you're the prisoner."
He's had a haircut, right? Cameron Vale.
He did.
He wakes up with a haircut. How would you feel if you woke up and someone had cut your hair against your will?
That would be creepy. Not gonna lie, that would be a little creepy. He woke up, he was clean shaven, haircut. Yeah, that would be a little disarming.
Hang on a minute.
That must be how zoo animals feel, though. Like if you're like a gorilla and you're hanging out in the zoo, and you can, oh bloody hell. I mean, I'd prefer to be in the wild, obviously, but it's not that bad living in the zoo. But I have got a toothache, and then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, what's that in my neck? And then you just fall over, and the next thing you know, you wake up and you're like, your toothache's gone, but you've been shaved. Someone's done your nails.
I wouldn't mind it if like it was something like that. You know, if you're like, oh, you have to go through some sort of medical procedure. I know, we get put under anesthetic anyway.
Anyways, that'd be
Yeah.
nicer, I think, than you having to get stressed and worried. But think about it: if you ever had to go in for a medical procedure, you're going to get stressed about it. You're going to have to go in at one point. I think they should just obviously you sign your consent forms or anything. It's just like, right, we're not going to tell you when, but when it's your turn, we'll come and get you. Then one day, you're just out around the Tesco's getting some food, you just see that, what's going on there? And the next thing you know, you just wake up from the
Yeah, I
hospital,
like
your
that.
appendix is gone.
Like that.
Yeah.
Unknown. But I feel like that is less of a disgrace than waking up with your hair cut and your, I don't know, clean shaven as well.
New set of clothes.
Reckon
Have you changed my pants? Yeah.
they've shaved everything. They've gone, we've given you a little spruce down there as well, because let's be honest.
If we've got a Manscaped sponsorship, Ben, this would be the perfect time to segue to it. We don't have one.
What an opportunity.
I reckon they did. I reckon they've gone, look, let's just do him a favour. He's been living on the streets or whatever he's been doing. Let's sort him out.
Just give everything a rinse down there while we're here. He's sort him out. Might as well show him that we're on the level.
Yeah. And then he won't be.
That's how they would show him they're on the level. Like, sponge bathe him when he's knocked out. That's how you do it.
Wait, when he wakes up, is he angry? Is he disappointed?
Well, he looks a bit miffed. He goes, oh, have some Ephraimol in you. Chill out.
Because he can hear like loads of voices as well, can't he? He can so he's been. So is it correct that this drug suppresses the voices?
Yeah. So basically, you can hear everyone's mind, and it's driving him mad. And as people fill into like the lecture hall, it's like too much. He goes, yeah, have some Ephraimol, sort you out.
Yeah. And this drug has been. This isn't the drug that sort of calls to scanners, is it?
It is.
It is okay.
We don't know that yet, though.
Sorry.
Right now, it's just anti. It's like the catch-all. I mean, we've talked about
got this
psychic
drug.
powers.
We've got
It's
this
a bit
drug.
like in X-Men films where, and immediately there is just a technology that, like, if you wear
Yeah.
this color, your powers don't work.
Yeah. We've got this drug that suppresses your scanner's powers, but also it causes the scanner's powers in the first place. Okay, that's weird.
Either at the right or wrong time.
How's that?
So while he's there, we do get another example, and this is where the famous scene front loaded in the film. It's what, 15 minutes in?
Yeah, I don't know about you two. Were you kind of thinking that this was the moment, or did you think, oh, maybe this will be like a setup and the moment will come later?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a setup and the moment might come later. I thought that was going to be like the end of film surprise, but no, it's right now. So there's a scene where they're doing a scanner's demonstration, basically. And he goes, "Oh, let's have someone from the audience." Now, you, sir, we've never met before, have we? He goes, no, we haven't. He goes, "No, don't think of your pin number or anything rude. Just
He does
think
really
about."
well though, because at least he leaves it for a decent amount of time before volunteering, because it makes it look like he's not evil or in on it or
Yeah.
he's like,
And when the guy picks him up and looks behind him in case it was someone else.
this
Me?
guy's believable. He's believable, this guy. I was thinking just before that, I think the doctor with Cameron Vale, he does explain a few things to him before we get the scene. So he does say he's one of 237 superpowered individuals known as scanners.
Have a drink.
They're capable of telepathy, biokinesis, technopathy, that's a music genre, psychokinesis, and basically they're gonna get him to control his abilities so that they're recruiting scanners to help stop a malevolent underground ring of scanners led by Darryl Revok. Is that how you say his name? Revok?
I don't. At this point, I think he must tell him about the ring later because we don't know know about the baddie until there's been a meeting.
Sure.
But yeah, ultimately that's what the doctor says. "I'm going to teach you to be a scanner," because he basically says, "Oh, obviously you've just thought you've been hearing voices all your life, but actually it's because you're a super special scanner." But we get Revok's reveal first, whereby this man who comes out ever such a nice, like, he's obviously already with these with the organization, so ConSec, saying, "Right, everyone, it's time for a scanning demonstration. I'm going to scan everybody," and makes you feel right poorly, but it's all right. Like, it's going to be fine. You have all volunteered for it. And then while he's trying to do some scanning of the very first volunteer, starts to go a bit wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong, in fact, that his head explodes.
Yeah, which is probably as wrong as it possibly could go, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Revok.
Revok?
Revok.
That sounds much better. Say again. Sorry.
Revok?
Revok. Then I said, yeah, that makes more sense.
Revok's like an off-branded, like, court shoe.
Revok, yes. Mum, can you
Nice pair of Revoks.
Can you buy me the new Reebok trainers? Oh, Revok. Oh no.
That's what your nan's got you for Christmas. Man, you were asking for Revoks, right?
Yeah, Nan, I was. Yeah, thank you.
But even as a child, I can't be ungrateful to my nan. Thanks, Nan.
Can't be ungrateful to Nan, but I will.
And then that's probably how he got his name. His nan probably got him some off-brand things, and then the next day at school, "Here, Revok, that's your name from now on."
Right, that's it. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna drill my head if you don't quit winding me up. So how does he do it? He just obviously he means to do it, doesn't he? It's not like an accident. He's supposed to blow it up.
Uh-oh.
So he infiltrates this marketing event and explodes the head of one of these scanners. And then there's like a security head guy who's like, "Right, you're coming with me."
And they arrest him, and he almost kind of stops him with his scanner's powers, but he does inject him with good old Ephraimol, and they stick him in a car.
Well, they don't inject him. He doesn't get injected. He uses his scanner powers to the doctor to inject himself, so he doesn't have to succumb when he gets into the car.
He kind of like still pretends like he was, right? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'm ever so tired. Put us in the car. You've definitely captured me."
Drug.
And then when he's in the car, he's like, "Here, mate, crash that car into a wall, will you?"
Yeah, exactly.
Crash that car and it explodes, and then he gets the other guy to like shoot a couple of the other agents, and then shoot himself. I think the shot where he's like getting the guy to shoot himself is really quite good, because it kind of like we just see Revok like behind him, like kind of he doesn't look ridiculous, like he's going, "Right, kill yourself." He's kind of just like glaring at him, and then he does it. So it makes me feel like, oh, maybe it's not as difficult for him to kind of do these things as potentially it could be. He's mastered it.
Yeah.
Because he's an evil bloke. When did we see the footage of him, like, in the whatever center he was in, and we saw footage, he started drawing an eye on his head?
Is this when Dr. Ruth is explaining later on, saying, "Oh, this is what Revok's all about."
I think so, yeah. So he's a former mental patient driven mad from hearing uncontrollable streams of thoughts, which would be annoying, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
You have to lock yourself away in a.
you don't want to just surround yourself with really positive people, right?
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah, right.
even then, something horrible would slip in there, wouldn't it?
I just maybe the secret is then just really boring people.
Oh, no.
Oh no, that would be terrible.
That's
No.
because their thoughts would just be like lovely white noise.
Yeah. No.
I don't know about that. I feel like I don't like hearing people like speaking out loud, let alone what they're saying. And oh, turn it down. We flipping out. Jesus. There was a guy. There was a guy in June Part Two. Bearing in mind, I was in a big cinema screen. It was a very loud film, but there was a man, probably like 3 rows in front of me, who must have been talking like the most booming talking voice I've ever heard. Just turning towards someone and going, "It's like Space Jesus, isn't it?" But it's just like such a booming voice. Oh, for God's sake!
It's like you weren't a scanner in that cinema.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is, I'd hate to be a scanner.
Because you'd hear their voices all the time. Then you could, if they really bothered you, you could get them to explode their heads.
I wasn't sure if it was a drill hole initially. I thought, oh, maybe someone had like shot him and he'd like just stop the bullet just in time.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Nope, just took a drill to himself.
Yeah.
Which I'm always fascinated about in shows. Like, I've seen that in, like, in other horror stuff, like people who drill into their brains. And, like, I've watched it on, like, medical shows, like how you really can. You can just drill into your brain and just drill through the skull and then just pull it out and you'll be fine. Like, isn't that bizarre? Like, you really can relieve pressure that way.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind every time I kind of see it.
We literally watched Frankenhooker last week, and the main character
helps him have ideas, doesn't it?
helps him have ideas. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'm having a bit of creative block. What should I do? Drill me own."
Have a little drill.
Yeah,
Right?
it is odd. The human body is very strange. But
I
yeah,
love when he put an eyeball over top of it. I didn't know that that was like part of it. Like when I saw that scene, I was cracking up because I was like, "Why does that dude have an eyeball?" on his face? And I was like, "Oh, he's crazy. Like it's part of like."
Either that or he's embarrassed. They're like, "Oh, I've drilled my head now. People are going to see that I've done this, and they're going to think of quick, draw an eye, draw an eye."
I was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, he must have just been trying to like conceal something. And I was, no, that's just okay. Like, there's like a reason for it. I just had to be patient.
yeah. I almost thought it was trying to suggest that, like, oh, maybe he thought he had some sort of third eye there, and he was trying to like destroy it. I don't know. Who knows? Makes him look quite terrifying though. I feel like you wanted to look terrifying to everybody else. Drill a little hole in your head. Not too deep, just a little one.
Yeah, just a little divot. But basically, after Revok has escaped, the new head of the security, basically, if someone like Revok comes and makes one of your guys blow their head up and then kills a load of your agents, that is going to be one like, one of your ministers at the government's had a bad time and they have to resign in shame. So that happens, and there's a new fella that's come in who's gone, "Shut this bloody scanner's locked down, will you?" And he says, "Now, let all 1,000 blossoms bloom, as far as I'm concerned. But I ain't got no more time for it, because every day someone gets their head blown up by Revok." And
wasn't this like the scanners? But they were supposed to be like going public with the scanners as well, so there was a lot riding.
Yeah, they were about to launch their whole new line of scanners.
Yeah.
But this guy, the new guy that's come in, taken over from the disgraced member of the team, has basically said, "Look, how many scanners we actually got since that one got his head exploded? None. All the others have joined this underground movement with Revok." And he goes, but the doctor basically goes, "Well, actually, Revok being bad just proves the point. And I have got one, actually. There's a fellow in my office right now waiting to be given a job as like the most important secret agent."
Yeah. You square. What you're not joining the scanner rebels? What are you doing? I want to work for I want to be the best scanner I can be.
Yeah, and immediately, I mean, thankfully, he's picked the most powerful one. I tell you what, we've got things to answer for, like, in the modern parlance, lots of film, I say fans, but lots of people who don't like to embrace change will complain in those new Star Wars films. Oh, it's a right Mary Sue. Old what's her face comes in and she's got all the powers immediately. The same with this fellow. He's instantly good at everything.
He's an instant Jean Grey in this one.
Yeah.
Everyone to mutants.
He was homeless a minute ago, knocking out old ladies in the food court, and the next minute he's like, "Try and stop this guy's art, will you? He'll stop. Don't worry. He's a good scanner. He'll stop you if you make his art go too fast." 2 minutes later, that guy's heart's exploding.
That was awesome. I was like, that poor guy that has to be like the guinea pig to all the scanners. Like,
Yeah, I did think that.
I was like, I hope he's getting like a good compensation package. Like, I hope he has good health care because that's a very scary job to have.
See you later, everyone. I'm off to work.
Yeah.
Maybe see you later. I don't know. Someone's going to stop my heart.
Maybe that's the price you pay, because like every other day when someone isn't really a very good scanner, it's like, fine,
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
fine.
Maybe there's
And then one day it's like,
maybe all the scanners are rubbish, so he's just like, well, no one's ever going to be able to stop my heart, so it's fine.
Yeah, do you want to make my heart go faster by, I don't know, telling me a joke or something? Because your scanning's not doing it.
Rubbish.
Tell me an exciting story.
So what does he do? Does he actually does manage to stop his heart pretty
Well,
easily?
he makes his heart go too fast. I'm not sure. Does the guy actually die? Does the doctor manage to stop him in time? He's like, please stop making his heart go too fast.
I don't remember what he does, but I like that the doctor's like egging him on, like, faster, faster, faster. Like, we're going to try to get this guy to die. Faster, faster, faster.
Set his heart to like hummingbird speed, and it's like must consume nectar. So yeah, basically, he shows him the video. He's ready to go out and do these things, and we learn pretty quickly that the new head of ConSec is in league with a man whose face we don't see. Is it Revok?
Right?
Probably.
So ridiculous. Like, who could it be? I wonder. What a big shocking reveal.
Yeah, it's like, don't worry, mystery man. They will never know that I have betrayed them.
You know.
Why did they give Cameron Vale such a nice coat? Nice sort of like trench coat as well. Like, right, if you're going to go in there and be any form of secret agent, you've got to have this big old trench coat on.
Back to the job.
He has a few different coats going on throughout this film. It's like,
He's got a whole new wardrobe that was fitted up for him while he was knocked out that time.
we've also got a selection of coats for you. We've cut your hair. We've shaved your face. Yeah.
We never know you're going to meet on one of these jobs.
True. You might meet a whole crew of scanners, which he does.
And the first thing he does is, right, go and investigate this scanner who was in prison for a bit, but actually he is better now because he was released on an art program. And he goes off and finds out that the art is available for sale. Immediately abuses his power by saying to just an innocent art dealer, saying, do you want to tell me I want to meet the artist if I'm going to buy this art? And he goes, sorry, it's literally impossible. In fact, I would probably lose my job even if I asked if you could meet this guy. And he goes, basically, not even like he's got a lot of powers, but he hasn't got through spy school yet, because he goes, why not just think about his name? Scan. He may as well put his hands up and do like a scanning motion.
Because his hands that everything is scan them. He's just like, oh, I'm not getting what I want, am I? Right, that's it, scan.
Yeah, the second you don't get what you want immediately. Oh, do you mind if I use the phone? Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. I will let you use the phone. I've just got to finish this really important call. Like that, is it? Scan.
Scanned. Take that. Poor art dealer, he's all like, ooh.
Yeah.
Got a little handkerchief, his nose is bleeding.
Makes him feel ever so wampy, but he does know the artist's address now.
I wonder how that appeared in his head when he did the scanning. I wonder if he got the whole address, whether it was just like, whether he could see the house like somewhere.
Like Google Maps comes down.
Yeah, like that. I went, okay, that's what it is. So it's Benjamin Pierce, who's like successful yet reclusive sculptor. But luckily he copes with his abilities through his art. And I think he even says something like, "Oh, my art!" like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I love my art."
Sometimes I'm
I
hearing
really
the voices,
explain
but
that though. It's just like he just does his art, and the voices are soothed, calm,
Yeah, I feel like that's a great
is it
answer.
because he's like concentrating on another thing? He's thinking about sculpting a massive head.
Yeah,
Like,
that was awesome.
yeah,
He says something to. He basically says to Cameron Vale. He basically says, "I got my art, so it's fine. If only you can find something like this, you'd be alright as well." He's like, "Well, I don't have any art. All right,
yeah. They go, I'm not very good at art.
find another hobby. It's something else that's suitable for you." And he goes,
Read a book, listen to podcasts.
I
I
know.
love
That's
that.
all it takes is occupying your mind. Like literally anything would be enough. Just do anything else and it would be fine. I
Yeah.
don't understand though why they could never like scan or know when the bad guys were coming up on them. Like were they all on drugs? Like even the artist guy didn't know when the bad guys were coming up on them. Every single time they're like surprised by ambushes. And I was like, isn't that like your one power to be able to tell when people are like sneaking up on you? I
Yeah.
mean,
They only get given away. One man gets given away later by, for some reason, not cocking his shotgun until he's literally pointing
yeah.
at him. But all of these guys that are coming up in this one, literally like an entire posse of dudes and a woman, get to walk in, and basically that guy who's a successful artist, this is the first example of as soon as our hero makes contact with someone, they are immediately killed.
Yeah.
Not just him. His art supplies get absolutely obliterated. All I kept thinking was, "Oh, the art supplies!" Everything just get exploded. Because it seemed like it felt personal. Because it felt like they shot him and they shot everything else.
Shot all of his art. So
Only you dead, but your art's shit. Bang.
yeah, especially because if the artist's dead, that art is going to accumulate in value, and it's like
Point.
maybe Revok has got a side hustle in less popular art.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, but basically, what does Cameron Vale do while the shotgun is going off? Just sort of hide.
Hides around the corner.
Anything. He just hangs out in the head. That was also really annoying to me. I really like the artist guy. I was hoping he would make it, and then Cameron's just like hiding. And then after like the artist guy gets shot up, he uses his scanner skills. Like, what is the point of you being a mega scanner if you're not going to save people?
I love his really dramatic use of his scanning in this one. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the artist guy is. I feel like he gets shot really badly as well because he does get blown away with the shotgun, but he does have like quite a brutal death where he gets shot once and they leave him to like stagger up the stairs with a big hole in his back, like oh ah ee ah. It's like The Mask when he gets shot in that. He's like oh and then he gets blasted away. But then this is when Cameron basically does some big acting of scanning. He like looks like that. He looks like this. And he goes. It's like Gandalf casting a spell.
I've been scanned. Yeah.
And they all get like blown away through various art supplies and so on. Is this one of them gets trapped under a net for some reason? That's a crisscrossed piece of material, not the artist's wife. He gets stuck underneath.
Get off me, Annette.
Stop it! I'm trying to catch this. I'm trying to catch Cameron. So he scans them all out of the way, and
excellent.
where does he?
I think he reads Pierce's mind.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I was about to say, where does he get his next lead from? Of course, scanning.
Basically, as we know, scanning is the answer to everything. And there's like a group of scanners led by Kim, who obviously we've mentioned previously, and he manages to track them down. And there's like a sort of meeting of these scanners, and I think Kim was at the art exhibition as well.
Oh, that's right.
Having a look at him, scanning him, I expect.
No, you get a nosebleed.
Are you scanning me? No. I would never. But then pretty much exactly the same thing happens again, which is, when you're watching films and someone's being pursued by somebody, and everywhere where they go, those people are pursuing them, kill the people they visited, but the person gets away. How many times has that happened where you go, I'm just gonna stop going to see my mates. I'm gonna stop going to visit
Stop
people I
seeing
love.
people.
I'm
Because I
just gonna
also
stop
feel
that.
like the pursuers are almost immediately there. It's like he's being pursued by like Droopy Dog. He like runs across the city, goes in and shuts like 50 doors behind him, and then he's there behind him, Radek's assassins.
I hate it. Do you hate when this happens in a movie, any movie, usually like an action movie or something? The hero has been being pursued by someone and suddenly he meets up with his oldest friend. But this oldest friend has got a new life and a new family, loads of kids, a wife, pets, and he goes and stays on some farmhouse with them and he's like, oh, don't do that. Please don't.
Because
And
the
then
baddies are going to turn up any second, and that's exactly what they do.
baddies turn up in like the middle of the night or something and just murder everyone. Oh.
Yeah, apart from the main guy. But I feel bad for this group. So, despite the fact he's an outsider, this group of scanners welcomes him in, and they go, "Oh, we're just about to do Scanners Club, actually. So, in Scanners Club, what we do is a bit of scanning, and what we do is we basically do a big old mind puddle, and we all go into like a collective mind all together." And he goes, "Sounds all right, actually. I'll give that a go." And he goes in, and then
But
as
while
they
we're
are
in this
all
collective
connected,
while we're in this collective mind puddle, our our defenses are completely down.
so
Yeah,
the man just
apparently,
opens the
right?
door.
It's crazy. They're in their little mind palace together. Like they say, they're more powerful together than apart, and they're like really strong. But not one of them can like hear anyone coming. Not one of them can sense it and use their scanning powers to know that the bad guys are gonna blast through.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, can't one of them just not join in the collective and just keep an eye on the door?
Yeah, that's what you need. You need someone just watching and then be like a code word or something to say like danger. Well, danger's fine.
Just look
Danger.
out. Just look out, because unfortunately, some guy just basically storms in.
It just takes them out. Every character that doesn't have any relevance just gets immediately taken out.
Yeah, any
We don't
unnamed
need you or
character.
hear you.
This guy just comes in and is like, boom, boom, boom. And then we get a depressing bit afterwards, and they run away from the baddies. Like, as they separate, Cameron and Kim are able to quickly scan that man out of the door. He goes, let's get him scanned away. And then as they're heading down the stairs, Kim's like, well, fuck's sake, now I know what it feels like to die, because I was connected to those dudes' minds when they got blown away.
Yeah.
And this is where they're hiding down in the basement. One of the assassins follows them, and he's like, even though you see him load the shotgun on the stairs to get ready, he waits till he's got the drop on them, and then pops up and goes,
Oh, right.
and he's like, right, scanned.
Scanned. You've been scanned. It was one of those, when you saw people getting shotgunned as well. It was almost like you saw the actors kind of like pretending they were just all at ease, but you could kind of see on the look on their face they were waiting for like some sort of squib to go off.
Getting ready for them to be yanked backwards on some ropes.
Yeah, pretty.
Are you
Pretty
suggesting that this acting wasn't top notch?
No,
Hmm.
no. Just maybe in that instance they were a little.
1 second, they kind of broke out of character.
Oh, or maybe because of their scanning powers, they were precognitive.
They were. I see what you mean.
They hadn't been able to articulate what that feeling was, but they were sensing the shooting they're about to be getting.
True.
That must be it.
So actually, that's best acting.
Oh, wow.
It's got so many layers to it. It's got so many layers to it. This acting.
Yeah.
It's like an onion, another peel that goes away. So the man that sneaks up on them does a quick scan of him, and he goes, "Hang on a sec, just gonna have a look into this fella's mind, eh?" And he says, "Oh, okay. There's a secret lab." And he gets another disguise on, and he has a look in the lab, and he sees on the computer that there is a computer program called Ripe.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's funny. Why is it funny? Like,
There's a computer program called Ripe, and he phones the the good doctor that's kind of sent him out on this mission and made him a spy. And he goes, "Oh, can we come in, please?" So they gives them a call. They get picked up and they come to meet the doctor. But the bad businessman who's been in more meetings with the mysterious faceless baddie stranger that we look. Stop asking. We don't know who it is. All right, we don't know who the baddie is.
Who could it be?
But like the corrupt official who's like, yes, mysterious Mr. R.
Yes, mysterious Mr. R. How are you? Headache.
Yes, secret agent, code name Bavok.
Babbitt. What's the pharmaceutical company as well called Biocarbon Amalgamate?
Yeah, that's what he learns at Biocarbon Amalgamate, that they're making lots of ephramin drug, and he's going, "Oh, what's this program with Ripe?" So he gets to talk to the scientist, Dr. Ruth, whereas our new ally, the lady whose name I have now forgotten, Kim, she's gonna have to go there, and the doctor goes, "Oh, I'm just gonna give you some Ephraim, so it's for our own protection. You don't want us blowing our heads up." But he says, "Don't worry, I didn't really give you, all right, Cameron, I really didn't give you any Ephraim. A bit of good faith. So if she's in trouble, then she'll be able to escape. She'll be able to scan people."
Yeah.
And it does go awry. The bad man does try and kill Kim. She just scans him across the room, though not enough to kill him. And they go on to escape. They do some scanning to escape. Unfortunately, though, all good things must come to an end, and we do lose the good doctor at this point, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did we make of this bit here? Is he talking to Cameron in his mind, or is he a bit scanny as well and he's just thinking about that stuff?
I think he's just babbling.
Yeah.
Like he's just confessing because he feels guilty now, I guess, or he knows the end of the road is coming, or something.
Better
like
just
that.
do some exposition about the past is the key.
He just really wanted his monologue moment, and he just wanted to spill all the information for us.
Yeah. And he's also told Cameron this is where he does the big scientific reveal. Now, if you're not a scientist, everyone, do keep up. I'll try and explain this in words you can understand. A computer has a brain in the same way that you or I has a brain. And if you're a scanner, technically, if you're a scanner with just the mildest bit of bloody ambition for once in your life, you can probably scan a computer in the same way you would scan a human mind. Fundamentally no different.
Yep. They both have nervous systems.
Yep.
Act the exact same way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this because it's 1981 and I guess everyone's grasp of what computer technology is a bit iffy?
Yeah.
Not everyone, but maybe David Cronenberg.
In 1981, everyone thinks all computers are the one from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where he's using it to try and find where he'll find the golden ticket. Just a big room-sized computer with tapes.
Or like the computers from 90s shows like The X-Files or any other sort of show like that. Enhance, zoom in on that, enhance by 100%. Oh my god, it's 4K this image now. Are we taking it from the camera?
Why aren't all photos zoom and enhance? A really blurry photo of my holidays. Can you zoom and enhance this, please?
Yeah, that's mad.
Bigfoot discovered 3 weeks.
Zoom in. It's just a fella in a costume. We enhanced that image.
So
we saw the
Cameron's not up for doing the computer mission. He wants to save Kim, and he does do that. He does make some guards have a cry though that are going to capture him.
Oh yeah, of course. What does he do?
Oh yeah, That was weird, right? What happened? What happened
They
with that guard crying?
they've basically got the drop on them. There's a guard on either side, shotgun guards as well, the weapon of choice in this film.
Yeah.
And do they both make each guard see the people they've got the gun on? So Cameron and Kim, do they make them appear as their moms?
Well, like one of them, I think Kim like appears like his mom, and I guess he had done something to his mom, like maybe killed her or something. Like I don't know. In my mind, he had like killed his mom, and he felt guilty about it, and she knew that from like scanning him, and then she like like embodied her somehow. I was
Yeah.
very confused
Oh,
about
maybe that is. Maybe he is
I
just
don't know.
sorry because he was very sorry about it. Because my immediate read on that is like, is he sorry because his mom's just busted him pointing a gun at him? He goes, "I'm so sorry, mom."
Oh, maybe. Oh, you know what? I don't know. That could have been it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could buy that. I didn't know what was going on.
I
All
mean,
I know is that was a really cool power that she did not use until that moment, which she could have used many other times.
yeah,
Like,
all the
I
tricks.
don't know.
It feels like they write their way out of corners by going, oh, do you know what? You could probably use scanning for this as well. You never thought of that, did you?
No. This is a well-devised story world that they knew from start to finish. What the rules were, they were very clear.
And
That was a weird.
people obviously were more sensitive in the 1980s. I mean, in 1981. These days, if I'd had a big enough cry every time I'd slightly disappointed my mum, I'd never bloody stop.
You
Dehydrated.
Ah.
I had thought that it was like something from the past. Like the way he was crying and carrying on, I thought like he did something horrible to his mom and like now all the guilt was coming through. But it was
Was it
such
like
a moment.
because he saw his mum, he like maybe she died and he was crying because now she was suddenly seemingly alive in front of him. So
Yeah, like I thought something like that. It was weird. I would buy either explanation for whatever happened at that moment. It was weird.
yeah.
Maybe, but his mum is dead, and before she passed away, she said, "Oh, whatever you do, son, don't become a shotgun wielding security guard for a sort of private military contactor."
A really messy weapon as well, isn't it? Because like if you're firing, not that I'm much of I'm not a shotgun user at all, but I find like it's just gonna pepper the interior wherever you are, like with
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the ideal gun for like
No.
chasing people down narrow corridors.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the thing is, it's got a nice spread on it, this gun, and it will just take out whoever gets in the way.
Yeah, let's just hope that you want to get everyone in this corridor.
Exactly. Exactly.
Once Cameron has done their escape, though, he does. You know, the doctor is dead. He knows about that, but he goes, "Okay, I will take your advice. I will get rid of that computer because you got to do it quick before they reprogram it." And then we just get like the remote scene whereby Keller and the other baddies are in the computer room going, "He's bloody in the computer right now."
He's in the computer right now. Say hello to it. Say hello to him. All right, mate? Say, stop that. Stop this. Get out.
Tell him to stop scanning the computer. Oh, he's not going to. Well, what can we do with the computer? He goes, right. Self-destruct the computer.
If you just type that into any Windows machine, it will do it.
Yeah. Delete Windows EXE. No.
It doesn't even come up with, are you sure? It goes, oh, finally.
Put the password in, will you? All right. Done it.
Sweet release.
But unfortunately, they do not account for Cameron being the best at scanning. And when they're trying to shut the computer down in a way that would self-destruct him,
Yeah, that's right.
because his hand goes on fire and so does the phone.
Oh yeah, the phone melts.
Mm.
Yep.
So can computers do scanning? Like they can make your phone go on fire?
Seems like it, doesn't it? Seems odd.
So
Again, plot.
that's happening, but
Plot says phone on fire because scanning.
yeah, but it's okay though because Cameron can scan so hard that he makes the entire computer room explode.
Yeah.
And I didn't miss anything. There are sequels that I haven't followed. Maybe Keller makes a return, but later when we do see Revok, he goes, Keller, oh, he died in that explosion.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh.
One computerman gets blasted out of the door in a wheelie chair.
Oh, yeah. Smashed it. Yeah, that's good. I liked it. Computerman. So what does he do? So he downloads the It says here he downloads the ephemeral shipment information.
Yep. Finds all the places it's being shipped to.
He's just downloaded a spreadsheet into
into his mind, Johnny Mnemonic style.
He's just gone, right, got all this information there now. Brilliant.
The computer's exploded. Technically, I've killed the baddies.
Can he run out of storage in his brain? I suppose he can.
Apparently not.
No, he can keep as many spreadsheets in there as possible.
Yeah, as long as he's not downloading big old image files or full motion high def video or anything like that, he's fine. Text, days. I guess from this information, he gets enough to go and call at the doctor's office, which is our penultimate scene.
Yeah. And this is where Kim realizes that there's a pregnant lady with a little scanner baby. And the little scanner baby... Actually, was the little scanner baby... What was it saying? Saying something to her.
Get us a bottle. Get us some milk. What do unborn babies like? Soothing music, whale song. Put the whale song on.
I keep mentioning June Part 2. There's a moment in June Part 2 where someone's like, unborn baby is like communicating with them and almost like giving them orders. Like, I reckon you should do this, said a newborn baby. And I'm a bit like, I ain't listening to you.
You ever been a kid? You haven't listened to anyone younger than you.
I just go, no, I'm not listening to you, little baby.
Yeah.
Unborn baby.
You don't know what it's like out here.
It was communicating. It was saying some things. I'm like, how does it know that concept? How does it know that word? I reckon it's the mum lying. Which I kept thinking.
Oh, yeah. The baby wants you to get me 20 chicken nuggets.
yeah. The baby, and you know what cravings can be like for pregnant women. Now, get me 20 chicken McNuggets, the baby says. Not me, the baby. Baby does.
Oh, the baby.
You can blame the baby for everything.
Baby says, although I'm eating for 2 right now, I'm actually only eating for 1 because these are just for the baby. I'm not going to get anything out of these. The baby wants all 20 nuggets, and can you get all 4 of the different sauces, please?
Oh, wow.
So Kim, she doesn't go out to get nuggets for the baby. She goes to tell Cameron what's going on, and he's just barged in on a doc. This man's just having his blood pressure done with his entire shirt off.
He's just in his underwear, I think. He's just like in boxers. He's just chilling. And then he's like, just hang on right here, read a magazine. I'll be right back.
Yeah, hang on here, read a magazine. He goes, oh, yeah?
I know you've come
in to talk to you about this drug. And the guy's, oh, for fuck's sake, yeah, fine, I'll come and talk to you now, eh? I mean, at least on this occasion, he uses his words and doesn't go, what if I was to scan you this wise? Get him to, like, walk the patient out of the room with scanning. But he doesn't. He goes, oh, fine, I'll come and talk to you. But unfortunately, they don't have that conversation because before you know it, Revok shows up and darts them both.
Revok and your darts. Again, no one can predict these very predictable moments, can they? I think the back is going up in a minute, so we should probably skedaddle. No,
have a needle up you, and and you've been first. Kim cops it, and then literally, as Nico mentioned earlier, she gets dragged around for a scene.
Great agency to give the female actress. Just
don't even
top
walk.
Top notch. Oy.
I reckon she fell out with David Cronenberg on the scene. He's like, all right, last scene, Kim gets dragged around all over the place. This wasn't in the original script.
It's
I've done a rewrite.
It's like a Blade 3 scenario where Wesley Snipes didn't want to open his eyes. It'd be like,
oh yeah.
She'd be like, Kim doesn't want to walk. Oh, drag her around while you can.
Drag her around everywhere, yeah.
I need the CGI my eyes opening. Yeah, all right. We'll do it. Um,
So she's getting dragged around.
sorry, just
Cameron does copy that as
at
well.
the final moment of the scene just before. So we do find out that basically the drug's been prescribed to pregnant women, thus turning their children into scanners, and that's why all scanners exist essentially.
Yeah, because if you have the drug when you already are a scanner, that stops it. But if you're not a scanner and you're having a baby, if you have that drug, you'll be a scanner.
Confusing.
Perfect sense.
Like, what's the chemical buildup of this drug? How is it doing both these things?
Yeah.
It's like a chicken and the egg scenario.
Yeah, I'm not a good enough scientist to know that. I used all of my scientific studies on computer science, knowing that their brains are a lot like human brains.
So then there's like a big reveal, isn't there, that Revok gives to Vale. He says,
Weird when he wakes up at the house. So he wakes up, old Cameron, he goes, "Where's Kim?" And he goes, "She's not in this scene. She'll be back after we've resolved this confrontation, all right?"
"Where is she? Don't worry about that."
Literally next door, in like literally a waiting room, waiting for this scene to have played out.
Nice one, Kim.
But yeah, which part of the reveal were you most shocked by?
Yeah, so the reveal is that they are both children of Dr. Ruth,
Yeah, reveal number one.
which thus means they're brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brothers, Dr. Ruth, and he just reiterates, and oh yeah, he was giving these because he's making scanners.
Yeah. So is this almost supposed to be a moment where like Revok's supposed to be like saying, "So really, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm doing the right thing."
We should be best mates actually because we're brothers. But Cameron goes, I mean, Cameron was saying like, "Oh, Dr. Ruth, he was a great man," and then as soon as he goes through and says, "Actually, he was wrong. Actually, he was bad. He was making all these scanners," and then he does seem to turn on Dr. Ruth, but not to come on to Revok's side because he goes, "Tell you what, you'll just really like him," and he's like, "What?"
But Revok ruins it by saying, like, he says all these things, and Cameron's almost like going, "Okay, right, that makes sense. That's a good point." But then Revok ruins it by going, "So I'm going to create a new generation of scanners to take over the world." And he goes, "You've lost me now. See, we were there. I was there with you, but then you've completely lost me."
Yeah, couldn't you have just started small and gone, "Shall we can be brothers, but we'll just go and do some brother things. Like we'll get rid of the rest of this organization."
We'll do brother things, but everything we do will be based on having scanner abilities. So we could go and have a kickabout. We're going to play football together, but I'm just going to scan it. I'm not even going to do it. I'm going to scan the ball across like that.
Imagine if the goalkeeper was a scanner and you're taking penalties. You're just about to say, you get a bit of a nosebleed. He knows which way I'm going to go.
He knows exactly which way I'm going to go. The other way. Oh, yeah. This final battle reminds me of. Have you ever seen those? I mean, it is horrific. Those like slap fight contests, but they're like officially adjudicated slap fight contests.
Yeah.
And whenever I see them, I go, "There's no winner in this. Everyone's going to have horrific head injuries for the rest of their lives."
Just being slapped about the face.
Basically, you like they like put chalk on their hands, and then you get like a free, unopposed slap in the face, like as hard as you can, bang. And if they don't get knocked out or fall over, they now have to slap you, and thus it goes on. And this fight reminded me of that because it made me think there literally is no winner. They're both melting.
Yeah. That's what
literally
Revok
melting. Yeah.
Revok's like, "Do you want to join us then?" And he goes, "Actually, politely decline. Taking over the world with scanners is not for me." He goes, "Right, fair enough. I see your point. I'm just going to scan you to death to slurp your brain into my brain, and then I'll basically absorb your personality."
So that's again,
I win.
That's a new part of the scanner ability.
Yeah, you can do this now. By the way, yeah.
Like basically, yeah, it's pretty nuts, isn't it? So yeah, now is the telepathic duel where essentially like Cameron's like melting, Revok is like a huge bursting vein on his head, and then eventually
it's great effects in this though. I mean, we haven't the effect on this is great, like practical effects. The bodies are like decaying and falling apart, and you feel like Cameron's chest could like melt in at any time.
Yeah, 'cause he has got like a hole in his chest, isn't he?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. He's like going from the inside out, spreading. It was awesome.
Do you think he was just scanning him to have like the worst acid indigestion? Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, just a little reflex in there.
Yeah.
I just kept thinking, literally, you're watching it thinking, well, I was kind of rooting for one guy, but now I'm thinking, there's no coming back from this.
Yeah, even if you win, you're so poorly. I feel like if you were like trying to remedy the symptoms, like Cameron's there trying to scan him right back, and he's like down in Rennie's to try and get the acid reflux under control.
Wow.
But well, it looks like Revok is like getting the edge in the battle. Cameron's getting all melty. His hands are catching fire, but then he plays a blinder. He like does full firepower, and then his eyes just explode.
Yeah.
Which you think was an indication of him losing, but then Revok seems to have a bit of probably just like a big fight.
It was a bit like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. What's his name at the end? Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, does Donald Sutherland point? Big
Oh.
shout. His eyes go all white.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what's happening. He's clearly suffering and something's gone wrong with him.
Yeah.
But
someone's knocked on the door and go, Kim, better get next door. I think the end of a telepathic battle's happening. Go and see.
Yeah. And that's the point. We just go to Kim, and she wakes up on a sofa and like goes, it was a plot convenient sleep. See what's happening here. And just pops her head into the next room. Burned up skeleton on the floor. That's Cameron. He's all burned up now.
I don't know what is funny. What is it funny? Because like this desiccated corpse, man.
Yeah, like bloody Uncle Owen's skeleton from the first Star Wars film.
He went out doing
burned up.
You said we're not doing what he loved. Yeah.
I died how I lived on fire.
How I lived scanning hard.
Yep, I put that on his tombstone. That would be amazing. I want that on my tombstone.
Died how I lived, imminently dying. I died how I lived for the last 5 seconds of my life on fire.
I died how I lived. My eyes got liquidized.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Live by the scan, die by the scan.
There you go. That's
it. That's the tagline for this episode.
Yep.
So just as Kim's taken in the ashen pile that was once Cameron, thinking, I mean, easy come, easy go. I guess I've known you for a day, but she hears from a pile of coats in the corner.
Yeah.
This is like when you go to a house party and you get absolutely smashed and you're like,
for asleep in the coat.
I'll go for a lie down, and you go for a lie down, but then more people arrive at the party and they go, I'm just gonna put my coat in that room, and you end up as a pile of coats, and then you wake up, God, bloody hell, that's heavy. No, this is basically what he says, and because he's got a slightly different voice, they go, I believe you. You are definitely Cameron in the body of Revok.
And that's what it is, right? It's Michael Ironside, but with Cameron's eye colour, and he basically goes, Kim, we've bloody won.
It was me, Cameron. I'm like, yeah, but now you're basically responsible for all of Revok's crimes. And
no, I've got different coloured eyes.
I'm obviously Cameron Vale, all right? Okay. Yeah, but the only people who know about this scanning thing are long dead. No, we'll be all right. No, he's going down for life. Is what's happening.
Yeah. In Scanners 2, Revok gets the chair. No.
Wait, so Scanners 2 is called The New Order. And I don't think there are any... No, I don't think there are any recurring characters as far as I can tell. No, it's just obviously a new order, new load of scanners. And the third one is called The Takeover.
Oh, maybe that is Revok's plan to take over the world, the brain style. I mean, it comes to something. I feel like, if you're listening to this thinking these guys have missed a point on this one, literally as the synopsis is written here in front of us, Vale accuses Revok of acting like his father, enraging him. The brothers engage in a telepathic duel which incinerates Vale's body. However, when Kim encounters Revok, she discovers that Vale somehow has managed to take over Revok's body during the duel. And that's literally it.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Exactly. Somehow Palpatine has returned in Revok's body.
And Vale's in his body now. But still. I mean, that is literally the end, right? There's no other.
Yeah.
Oh, we get the credits, which are like the computer. It's like Cameron Vale memorized the credits, and he's
scanning them to us.
He's scanning them directly to us. Okay, Andy, have you got any name game for us?
I can come up with some name game for you for sure.
On the flight, I don't.
Off the top of the dome,
explain name game to you, Nico. Do you remember? I don't know if you did it last time.
I remember-ish.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a plot of a fictional film. Not that many films aren't already fictional, but a fictional film, even for the world of films. We're going to come up with a plot that will have a similar plot to Scanners, but be ever so different, and will coincidentally rhyme in a very loose sense with the title Scanners.
I'm confused already, Andy. Okay.
You know how it goes. So what's the synopsis, Ben?
It's got a lot of the word scanning in, if you remember it. It trains a man with an advanced telepathic ability called scanning to stop a dangerous scanner. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Television presenter Dominic Littlewood goes out to stop people from giving away their pensions to white-collar criminals. A genetic breed of white-collar criminals.
I feel like this is unfair because I feel like Dominic Littlewood is not an international star.
Let me think of a US equivalent of Dominic Littlewood. Maybe one doesn't exist.
He's a one-man band. He's a unique.
Yeah. I don't know someone who is big on consumer rights in the US.
Someone's cool. Are you Googling him, Nico? Dominic Littlewood. This basically, instead of scanning you, they ring you up and they're trying to give you some false information.
Oh yeah,
over there.
Yeah, so a genetic breed of super mutants are really good at phoning you up and saying, "Yeah, you're locked out of your bank account, so if you just give us your password, then we will get you back into it." All right.
Nice.
What's the title of this film?
So Scammers.
Scammers, correct.
Okay, got it.
I like the Dominic Littlewood clue. Like, not fair, is it?
For international listeners.
Okay. A scientist trains a man with an advanced telepathic ability where he's just really, really nice and polite all of the time.
Manners,
correct. I wish I could do that, the scan. Right, that's it. Just say please and thank you. That's all you need to do.
That's how you get what you want. Can you tell me where the artist lives, please? Well, as you've asked like that, yes, absolutely. This is his address. In a film where, in a more believable sense, people don't have any psychic powers at all. They're just really good at foresight. They sit down and they decide what they're going to do in advance, and then they execute those ideas, and everything goes according to their design.
Is it Planners?
Planners, correct. Far less exotic film.
Well, talking of far less exotic films, a scientist trains a man with advanced telepathic ability called scanning to stop a dangerous group of old grandmothers with extraordinary psychic powers.
Just grandmas.
Grammars.
I think grammars works, but I've gone for a nanners.
Nanners, very good. Works better in your accent.
It works very well in my accent.
Nanners.
That's a movie I would watch.
Nanners. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Andy, any more?
No, I think that's me done for this week because I already said grammars out loud. So
grammars out loud. Yeah. I feel like this is also bad, and I feel like I can't just aim it at Andy, but it's not only is it a UK only one, but it's also a Bristol only one. And Andy, as you lived in Bristol briefly, um, a scientist trains a man with advanced telepathic ability called Scanner to stop a group of West Country people whose term of endearment for each other is quite unique. Don't know if you remember this at all from your time in Bristol.
Oh, no. No, I don't. This one might have passed me by, Ben.
I didn't mean to leave you out, Nico. If you've got a clue either, then of course.
No clue.
Have you got it?
No, go on.
Babbers.
Babbers.
Different Bristolian people.
They do that. They do that in the Midlands as well. Come on, me babbers. You might say at the football.
Yeah, like older Bristolian people will refer to you as me babbers if I don't know in any it's just a term of endearment really.
Right, Babber.
Use,
tell you what, in the intervening moments, Ben, I've got one more for you.
Oh, great!
So, a scientist trains a young man with incredible plumbing powers, but actually, it's not magic at all. It just gives him a really useful tool for tightening and loosening nuts and bolts to help him with the plumbing.
I feel like, is this a UK thing? Do we only refer to this in the UK as this?
Interchangeable with wrench. I think wrench might be a more US thing.
I mean, I know what a wrench is. I don't know what.
Oh, no.
We have another name for it. It's also a word for a rather silly person.
Spanners.
Spanners, right.
Absolute spanner. Furnace spanner in the works. Is that UK? I don't know.
It might be. We learned so much about culture in this show. I'm so glad, everybody.
I'm just glad that I've shared babbers with somebody from the US, which is
I learned something new today.
So when if you find yourself moving over here, Nico, and you want to be nice to someone in the Southwest, you say, "Come on, Baba."
I'm sure it'll go over well coming from me.
Yeah. Okay. So now all we need to do is rate the movie A to F. Pluses and minuses are allowed. First time watch for all of us, so this is going to be quite interesting. Nico, would you like to rate the movie first?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with a solid B because I thoroughly enjoyed it. Wasn't the best movie in the world, but I had fun watching it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Andy, where do you fall on this one?
I might go a tiny bit lower. I think it might be showing its age a little bit, and I think it's propped up really heavily, I think, by some great practical effects and some great set pieces, which kind of maybe help it overcome some of the massive leaps in logic that you need to do just to advance the story in this one. I see that there was talk of a remake of this film, and I think skillfully written. Okay. The set pieces of this film, I don't think it ultimately happened. There was something here with
right.
Actually,
a remake in the works.
February 2007. Darren Lynn Bousman, director of Saw 2, 3, and 4. Oh. Written by David S. Goyer. Lots of writing credits under David S. Goyer. It didn't actually happen. He recalled that he would not make the film without David Cronenberg's approval, which was not granted. So they abandoned it for respect for the original. I think well written, where you just build out some of the, you build out some of the areas of the plot, give a little bit more contrivance to how it can be done, with a more modern understanding of genetics and computers. I think this could be really strong. Essentially, though, it does still have a really good, interesting base, and there are some really cool explorations of the powers. So, long way about it. Slightly lower than Nico, but I'm going to go for a B- for this one.
I think, yeah, if there's going to be a remake, double down on the heads exploding. I think we need to see a head exploding every 45 seconds.
Yeah. I'd actually maybe take some of the science out and just say, oh, it's basically magic. You can, you've just got these powers, right? You don't need to explain it too much.
A nice PG-13 version where people just fall down.
Yeah. With a nosebleed.
Not even that's too far. I don't want to be like the lowest of everybody. I'm just going to go for a C plus now, because it's my first watch. Sometimes I feel a bit more fondly about these films when I think about them some more and go back to them. But I think first watch probably a C plus, only because I think I've built it up in my head for so long, especially seeing that visual, that poster, thinking it was going to be like a scare a minute. And I think that it does sort of go into a bit of like espionage mystery, running around pursued territory for a while, which is fine, that's absolutely fine. But I was kind of wanting, and that's sure the telepathic battle at the end is great as well, but it bookends what can be a little bit, I don't think it's boring, but it bookends something that definitely has some lulls at times, but bookended really well. So I think C plus for me.
Yeah. Okay. And there's a spin-off as well. So, I mean, we have Scanners 2, The New Order, and we have Scanners 3, The Takeover, 1991 and 1992. We have two spin-offs, Scanner Cop, 1994, and Scanners, The Showdown, Scanner Cop 2.
I didn't even know that Scanner Cop was related to this. But
it is.
It's like 90s, isn't it?
Yeah, 90. The whole series came out between 91 and 95, so it's a front-ended into the 90s. Another 4 movies that are related to this. My question as we finish is, either of you tempted to maybe check out some more of these, or have you scanned it out for a bit?
I'm looking at this Scanner Cop poster. It looks wild. This dude has like these big bulges coming from his forehead. That looks fun.
Yeah. It's got electric eye as well by the look of this.
Yeah.
Someone gone, Scanners? Yeah, I do know Scanners. It's good. Imagine a Scanner Cop and they've gone, sign me up. Sign me up.
You could, interrogations would be well easy.
Yeah.
Did you do it? No.
Did you do it? No. I've just explained it instead, and turns out you didn't do it. Sorry. After all. Police brutality. Scanner style. Okay. There we go then. That is Scanners. Thank you. Sounded really Bristolian when I said Scanners then.
Scanners.
That's pretty Scanners, isn't it? It's because I said Babber's live on the show, and we know what happens there. Thank you so much for joining us, Nico, and of course, congratulations on the release of your book, which is out now. If you listen, well, it is out now, regardless of whether you listen to this now or not now. what am I talking about?
I mean, we've talked about this now, so obviously you can get paperback, you can get ebooks. If you're a scanner and you're listening to this, interface with the computers directly, because what you may not understand, even as a scanner, is that computers' brains very similar in structure to those of a human. So if you can interface with a human brain, you can interface with a computer brain. I think you probably say, obviously, you should absolutely pay authors for their work, Nico, but I'm sure even you as the author would agree, if people are able to interface with a computer with their mind, they can slurp out a free copy for themselves.
Encouraging piracy.
Yeah.
I think if you're a scanner, they're a repressed minority, then I think we need to give them a hand.
It's absolutely.
I agree. I totally agree.
Where can our listeners find more from you, Nico?
Pretty much everywhere at Nico Bell Fiction. I am all over all the social medias, and my website, Nico Bell Fiction.
Amazing. We will put, of course, those links in the show notes, as well as the links to your book. Brilliant. So that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us, Nico. Next week we're at Fright Fest Glasgow. We're live, not live. We will be there live, but
we will be there live. You will watch us recorded.
Feet on the ground. So look forward to that. I look forward to these sort of episodes. They're always fun. Me and Andy officially in the flesh. We might have updated our microphone situation as well, I know
what's on order.
I know the tiny little microphones got a lot of love last time, but we might have had a size increase. Size doesn't always matter, but microphone-wise, maybe this time it does.
But it does when not rival broadcast, you have a completely different topic, but when other broadcasters come up to us in the street with a much larger microphone, it is a little bit upsetting.
Mike envy. So thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to all of our patrons. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review on any platform that you listen to us on. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Horror Hangout Podcast. You will find us there. So we will see you next week in Glasgow.
Yeah, see you there, everybody.
Thanks for joining us again, Nico.
Thanks, Nico. See you next time. Bye
Bye,
for
everybody.
now. Bye.